Good morning. A suspect has been arrested in Virginia and will be charged in the abortion clinic shootings in Massachusetts that left 2 dead. And Happy New Year 1995 is welcomed at festivities around the world. Today, Sunday, January 1st, 1995.
From NBC News, this is Today with Mike Schneider and Jackie Nespral, live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
It sure is 1995, the first day of 1995.
It is indeed. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
All right. You had a nice night last night?
Yeah, very nice night. How about yourself?
Good. Nice and quiet.
And quiet. Mike Schneider's got the day off, as you can tell, and joining us this morning is Jack Ford, and we're happy to have you.
Nice to be here, Jackie.
Happy New Year to you all. Coming up in this half hour, we'll talk to an eyewitness to Friday's shootings in Brookline, Massachusetts, and to the former employer of John Salvi, the man arrested in Virginia. We will also talk to law enforcement officials in the 2 states about the charges Salvi will face.
And we'll also talk about the O.J. Simpson case and the issue of DNA evidence and whether Judge Lance Ito will allow the jury to hear those 911 tapes we've heard so much about, plus a preview of the new film Legends of the Fall. But first, this news this morning. John Salvi is spending New Year's Day in a Virginia jail. He's the chief suspect in 2 murders at abortion clinics near Boston. He was arrested Saturday in Norfolk, Virginia, after allegedly spraying gunfire into a clinic there Saturday morning. NBC's Rick Davis reports.
The hunt ended here. Surrounded by police, John Salvi tossed this weapon from his pickup truck. He had used it to fire on this Norfolk, Virginia abortion clinic. He tried to get in and failed. There had been a coast-to-coast search for this 22-year-old man from New Hampshire. He is wanted in Massachusetts, accused of killing 2 people, wounding 5 others at 2 abortion clinics last Friday. Massachusetts wants him back.
As soon as we can, the quicker the better.
25-year-old Shannon Lowney was one of the Planned Parenthood workers killed. Her fiancé remembers.
Shannon Lowney was the best person that I ever met in my life. She was the most trusting, caring, and openly loving person that you could ever meet.
The flowers on the steps of this clinic are testimony to the tragedy here. Violence will not close the clinic.
We'll be committed to working to see that the climate in this country that I think fuels this kind of deranged behavior is diminished.
Since 1993, there have been 11 abortion-related shootings in this country. 5 people have been killed. Rick Davis, NBC News, Boston.
And in other happier news this morning, Chief Warrant Officer Bobby Hall made a New Year's resolution to spend New Year's Eve quietly with his loved ones, and that's exactly what he did. But earlier in the day, he went out on his lawn in Brooksville, Florida, to thank the people for their show of support. Hall was held prisoner in North Korea for about 2 weeks after his helicopter went down north of the DMZ. And all sides are hailing the new truce in Bosnia as a major breakthrough in the long-running dispute. The UN announced that the Muslim-led government and the Bosnian Serb leaders had agreed to a stand-down of at least 4 months. It replaces a holiday ceasefire that had expired on Saturday. But in breakaway Chechnya, war is still raging. Russian troops continue their attack on the capital city of Grozny. They've moved in with tanks and artillery and seized the main railway station and several government buildings. Moscow insists the soldiers are merely, quote, restoring order by disarming so-called rebels. Chechen leaders say they're winning a moral victory by holding out against the Russian army. And in Belgium, fire swept through a hotel ballroom jammed with holiday revelers. At least 5 people were killed there. And fire is in the news also in the U.S. as a fire gutted part of a hospital in Petersburg, Virginia overnight and killed 4 people. The fire started in a patient's room at Southside Regional Medical Center. Now, the question is this censorship or simply sense? Some wordsmiths at Michigan's Lake Superior State University have come up with some phrases they'd like to see banished. Among those we're allowed to mention in that list, information superhighway, family values, pushing the envelope, my plate is full, target audience, vast majority, and jumbo shrimp. I think we've all used some of those phrases relatively recently.
Many times.
And also, we've all welcomed in the new year in our own way, in case you're just getting started today. I'm reminding you it is now 1995. In New York, hundreds of thousands of people greeted the start of the year with the traditional Times Square ball dropping ceremony. They braved a light rain and jammed the streets for hours before and after the big moment, which was followed by a fireworks display. Across the country in Seattle, a spectacular fireworks display at the famous Space Needle. So everybody had celebrated their New Year's Eve, and you look like you did reasonably well, the two of you, for it.
I did, and I came in dressed with it. I have something for you. Happy New Year, everybody.
Janice Huff joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Sitting in for Joe Whitty.
Left over from last night's party.
A very perky and peppy Janice Huff for a
Something
morning
is
where
wrong
the rest of us are not terribly
No,
perky and peppy.
It's all an act. You know,
right.
Don't believe everything you see, okay? I'm waking up slowly with the rest of you this morning. Here's a look at what's going on around the nation, weather-wise. We've got precipitation falling in most of the east of the Mississippi River, falling in the form of rain down across the southern states from Alabama into Georgia. We do have some light snow showers now over Lake Michigan and around Milwaukee. Also some icy conditions in upstate New York, though along the coast it's all rain. That's what we expect for this New Year's Day. Looking for rain showers. Oh, look, Boston today. Look for partly cloudy skies. New York City with sunshine, and temperatures will be very frigid across the northern states. That's a look at national weather, and now here's your local forecast. And now here's Jackie.
All right, thank you, Janice. In the NFL today, 2 wild card games. New England visits Cleveland and Chicago plays Minnesota. And can we forget the game, yesterday's game, Miami Dolphins versus the Kansas City?
I don't think you're going to let us forget the game
No, of course
yesterday.
not. I said it was Montana versus Marino, and who do you think won?
Marino
Oh, let
came
me
out.
think.
Especially if I'm mentioning it today, of course, the Dolphins won. Now with the highlights of Saturday's action and the rest of today's sports, here's Bill Crowley.
The Dolphins' Dan Marino won the battle of Hall of Fame-bound quarterbacks. Marino had 2 touchdown passes, and the Dolphins' defense intercepted